Okay. I know this will definitely be my last one, but this one is going to be a movie I saw maybe 2 months ago, so we'll see how well I remember it. It's My Soul to Take. It was out in theaters. I saw it. It was in like the cheap theaters. I saw it, but um, anyway, to start off, I thought it was good. I actually enjoyed this movie. It's about some town I don't remember the name of. It's like a smaller town. They had a serial killer there, and shoot, they had a serial killer there. They killed a bunch of people, but it turned out it was a guy with schizophrenia or multiple personalities. The one where you actually take on another personality and you don't know about it. But I think he did know about it. Now that I think about it, whatever. Ends up he wants to take care of it, but his other personality doesn't want him to take care of it. Personality kills wife in bed. She's prego or whatever, and then tries to kill a cop, and all these things happen. Basically, skip ahead 16 years. And well, I can't do that. Whatever. Skip ahead 16 years. Serial killer, they think died, maybe not died, because he escaped out of the ambulance after he was shot like 5 times. And, they're not sure if he ever really died or not, but they say the ghost of him comes back, and apparently like 7 kids were born the night he supposedly had died, which is an insane number for one small town. Whatever. And so they have to try to push him back in. Okay, movie focuses on this main character, Bug. Love the name, of course I'm gonna remember the name. He's an adorable character, minus the fact that he could be the serial killer. Basically, Bug's history. His dad is a serial killer. His mom was the one that was murdered in bed. She was prego. But he was able to survive. He's called the miracle baby. His sister pretends to be his cousin, and she's bitch. Is the best way to describe her. But I mean, she went through a pretty bad ordeal. She almost got murdered when she, was like 3 or whatever. Now she's all upset about it. But anyway, Bug does not really have any friends. He has 2. One is blind, one is kind of a freak. Everyone picks him on at school. He likes the popular girl, but she's not a fan of him. Instead, the freaky religious girl is a big fan of Bug. Anyway, it's all their birthday or whatever, and kids start getting murdered. So they're like, serial killer's back. They're like, what if it's Bug? By the way, guy who plays Bug, you were also in a movie I did review, Chloe, is where I know you from. I don't know your actual name. You're a really good actor. You do these parts where you have to mimic these other characters because, like, your mind's insane. And you do it spot on. You're really good at it. Kudos to you. It's very well done. He does a very good job playing this character in this movie. So, see it for that. It's a very odd movie. Kind of humorous at some points. Kind of like, what the is wrong with everyone in this town at other points. But, basically, almost all the kids, I said there were 7. I can't actually remember the correct number, but we're going to stick with 7. Almost all of them die. Basically, we're going to skip ahead to some point in the story near the end. Bug decides it is not him. It is his best friend, who's this evil soul of the serial killer got into. Like, that's what they think, the soul escaped and went into one of the kids that was born that night. Turns out it's Bug's best friend. Everyone thinks it's Bug, because why wouldn't it be Bug? And, basically, ends up being his best friend. Every other kid dies. Bug has to kill his best friend in order for everything to stop. That's the same day that Bug finds out that the person he's been calling mom is actually his aunt and not his mother. He didn't know his dad was a serial killer. He didn't know his mom was murdered in bed. He didn't know his cousin is actually his sister. He didn't know they were just living with their aunt at the time. And the audience doesn't know this either. However, I found it oddly suspicious that Bug was one of these kids. When you actually see the sister. She's a nurse that night. And she's not prego. She's just working. And I thought about that later in the movie. I'm like, that doesn't make sense, but okay. Called it that the cousin was actually the little girl because you do realize like what happened to that girl and you're like, oh, it's probably the bitchy cousin. Uh, so yeah, that's basically all there is to the movie. It was summed up very nicely. Once again, I recommend seeing it. I thought it was pretty good. It's not really all that scary. It's not jump out at you scary. It does make you kind of think, except I kind of told you exactly what happens. Not very well, but you know the ending now. However, for Bugs acting alone, it's hilarious, it's ridiculous, it's awesome. So, see it for that. For high school, I don't think ever actually exists. Like, this is not even stereotypical high school. And it's definitely not the normal high school I went to. It is just weird, weird high school. So, yeah. If you need any other convincing, they do dress up as like a giant crow. And I mean they do dress up as a giant crow. Like, giant costume. So I know I have you hooked now. Yeah.